What's up, everybody? You would literally be having to live under a rock over the last 6 months to not have noticed that the housing market has changed. But how bad is it here in Maryland? The big question I get asked is the Maryland housing market gonna crash? Because right now, we are definitely feeling the correction. In order for the Maryland housing market to crash, we would need a huge influx of inventory all at one time, like we did in 2008. Back then, it was all about foreclosures and short sales, but we're not gonna get into all of that right now. The big question is, will it happen again? In this video, we're gonna go through it all. New construction, foreclosure numbers, inventory, price reductions, and see how Maryland is doing now that we're about to enter the fourth quarter of 2022. So let's just dive right in. As I always say, real estate is very localized. So let's compare the national data with the whole state of Maryland, and then at the end, I'll go a little deeper into Montgomery County, Maryland, where I specialize. According to the National Association of Realtors, existing home sales sagged for the 6th straight month in July. All 4 major U.S. regions recorded month-over-month and year-over-year sales declines. What's more, there have been layoffs and slower job growth in the industry. Home builder sentiment has turned negative, and buyers are canceling contracts in the face of higher interest rates. We are witnessing a housing recession in terms of declining home sales and building, said Lawrence Yoon, the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, in a recent report. What does this mean for home buyers and home sellers, and also specifically here in Maryland? According to NAR, the National Association of Realtors, on a national level, even though sales of existing homes were down in July by 20.2% to 4.8 million properties, down from 6 million properties a year earlier, the median price last month was $403,800, up 10.8% from a year earlier. So now take a look at this chart provided by Redfin on Maryland, which goes back 5 years. In Maryland, home prices were up 5.8% in July compared to last year, selling for a median price of $408,100. On average, the number of homes sold were down 25.2% year over year. There were 7,309 homes sold in July this year, down 9,775 homes sold in July of last year. And the median days on the market was 20 days, up 5 days from a year earlier. So homes sold are down, but actives are staying in the market longer, which does create more inventory. Let's take a look now at how many homes are actually for sale. According to Redfin, in July of 2022, there were 20,065 homes for sale in Maryland, down 15.2% year over year. Now, I know all these numbers are July and we're not in July, but everything's gonna lag about 30 to 45 days. So just keep that in mind. But the data is good and it's definitely relevant to what's happening going into the fourth quarter. The number of newly listed homes was 8,518, which is also down 29.9% year over year. The average months of supply is only 2 months, which is the same as last year. So far, this data is not screaming crash to me because we need a lot more inventory for this to turn over into a buyer's market, and especially for us to call this a housing crash. Let's look at foreclosures. According to ATTOM, a curator of land and property data, home foreclosure filings in Maryland rose by 155.8% from 2021 to the first half of 2022. If we take a closer look at foreclosure events in Maryland, according to the Department of Housing and Community Development, for the first quarter of 2022, the statewide total is 1,693 events. You can take a look at this map that I took from their site to see how it delineates throughout the state. Now let's go back to pre-pandemic numbers and see how it compares. I took this from 2019. It looks like 5,690 foreclosure events happened in the second quarter of 2019. So even though the numbers are way up since July of last year, which makes sense since the moratoriums on foreclosures expired, we are still way below pre-pandemic pre-pandemic numbers as far as foreclosure events. Let's move on to price drops. 34.7% of homes had price drops, up from 24% of the homes this time last year. This could be either from sellers pricing their homes too high and not adjusting to this changing market, or it could be because buyers have been priced out from higher interest rates, or maybe they're just waiting on the sidelines to see what's happening in this current changing market. One thing for sure, the increase in price drops definitely indicates the market is cooling off and shifting more to a buyer's favor. As I said at the beginning, real estate is very localized. So while some places in Maryland may be doing well, others are not. Take a look at this article from Patch.com that cites 3 of Maryland's counties among the 50 most at-risk housing markets nationwide, according to ATTOM, which I told you is a curator of real estate data across the United States. The rankings are based on home affordability, underwater mortgages, foreclosures, and unemployment patterns in the first quarter of 2022. Baltimore County, Charles County, and Prince George's County were listed as vulnerable counties in Maryland according to these metrics. Let's take a closer look at Montgomery County, where I specialize. Now, we are at the end of summer, so it is pretty common in this area for inventory to be down. I do expect a fall market bump from Labor Day to Thanksgiving, as we've had traditionally in years before. So let's look at the numbers. According to Bright MLS, the median sales price in Montgomery County is up 9.1% year over year to reach a price of $600,000. The average sales price is up 8.3% to $733,588. Homes for sale are down 37.4% to 1,244 homes since last year. And closed sales are down 15.5% to 3,944 homes year over year. We have 1.1 months supply, which is down 26.7% from a year ago, which is super low. And to get even more specific, here is a present-day market watch for Montgomery County for August 24th, 2022, the day that I researched this video. I didn't put any metrics in this search, just Montgomery County, and it covers a 3-day period. 53 properties coming soon, 49 newly active, 20 back to active, which means a contract has fallen through, 68 with a price decrease, 8 with a price increase, 70 active under contract, which means there still are some contingencies like an inspection or an appraisal, so there's still a chance it could fall through. 114 pending, which means that all the contingencies have been resolved and it's going straight to settlement. 104 closed and 64 off market for various other reasons. And just take a quick look, I'm not going to go through all the numbers, but at the chart that I pulled today, the amount of homes coming on the market is the same amount as the number of price reductions. So what does all this tell me? It tells me that more homes are coming on the market, more homes are getting price reductions, and also more contracts are falling through for various reasons and going back on the market. But there is still very little inventory. Just some more info about what's happening today in September 1st of 2022. Interest rates have gone down a little bit, so you can find some good programs for right around 5%. But the challenging news that came out this week is that mortgage demand has dropped to the lowest it's been in 22 years. I mean, this shouldn't come as any big surprise since the market is changing and there's just less buyers in the market right now. So what's the bottom line? I started this video by saying that in order for us to have a housing market crash, we need a big influx of inventory all at one time. Maryland is not immune to a housing correction. We're all feeling it right now. Real estate is very localized, so what's happening in Baltimore is just not the same as what's happening in Montgomery County or other parts of Maryland. Builder sentiment in the market for single-family homes fell into negative territory in August as builders and buyers struggle with the higher costs. Prices have already gone down, and I think they're going to continue to correct, which is good. The market over the last 2 years has been unsustainable, and we need a more balanced market. The biggest hurdle right now for buyers is affordability, but I still don't see a crash happening. There's just not enough inventory. Things to look out for, in my opinion, are employment numbers, foreclosure numbers, and interest rates. If unemployment increases and foreclosures increase, and interest rates continue to go up, things could get a lot worse. But for now, I'm still hopeful that we are seeing a much needed correction to obtain a more balanced market. This is not 2008, and I just don't see a market crash happening. If you'd like to get more information about where you live specifically, just send us an email and we'll try to get you that information about your area. I hope you got some value out of today's video. It's a lot of work to put it together, but I think it's really important for you to have the most up-to-date information so you can make the best decisions for you and your family. I will put the links to all of my sources in the description below, so you can definitely check them out. If you did get some value, please consider supporting our channel by smashing that like button, commenting below, and subscribing to our channel. It just motivates us to make more videos. And if you are thinking about moving to Montgomery County, Maryland, or DC, or Northern Virginia, and you like our help, just send us an email, we'll set up a Zoom, we'll get you started. Every Sunday I put out a video on the national forecast and give you some insight to what the industry insiders are saying. Thanks for watching, I do appreciate it. Bye!